Have you ever wondered how your granny will look after finding a bag with cosmetics of her 16 years old granddaughter? No? What if she changed her holy panties for a red thorn? Have no clue? Well, then I will tell you how it looks on an example of the first two WarCraft Remastered games that were released recently if it's still in your mind. I will only talk about the first two games, because here you have a choice: buy a remaster of the first two games for 5 euros and the second for 10 euros, or the original version of the GOG store for 7 euros. The third game is available to you only as Reforged, without any alternatives. The first Warcraft game I played was Warcraft 2 on my Pentium 1. At that time, it was the best strategy game I have ever played. During that time, I played the campaign several times, thinking about using unpopular spells or inventing new tactics. A few years later, I got a disc with 70 strategies, including the first Warcraft. When I saw it, I installed it immediately. But when I started playing, I was very disappointed, because it was very different comparing to the second game. There were no details about units, you could select only 4 units per group, you couldn't buy groups to hotkeys, and building was tied to roads. In general, after playing 3 missions and realizing that I was suffering more from inconvenient control than enjoying the game, I just gave up. Replaying the Warcraft 2 campaign, I couldn't get rid of the wish to complete the Warcraft 1 campaign. There was a certain feeling of unfinished business that made me return to the first game from time to time. And then, suddenly, the remaster of the first 2 games came out. I played the remaster of all 3 games of the Age of Empires, all 3 games of the Tomb Raider, the first Red Alert Remastered, and in each of these games there were some improvements compared to the original. I expected this from the Warcraft 2, and in the first game they are really noticeable. I will start with the new improvements where you can make a group of 12 units. You still can select Wounded 1 from the group, but this is the first huge advantage of the remaster. Also, they added modern control. Now we have the usual mouse control and can't forget to use commands for every action, as it was in Dune 2. Next improvement is the health bar, which shows us wounded units, which greatly helps for healing them with clerics, as well as focus fire on them. The amount of available food from farms have been moved to the top panel. Previously, you had to click on the farm itself to understand how many units you can build and whether it's time for you to build a new farm. Very convenient. Another improvement is the campaign menu, where you can see all missions. When you complete them, they become unlocked for the replay. Quite convenient when you want to replay the campaign but don't want to complete some missions. And of course, more detailed graphics and high resolution support. Generally, these are the key features of the remaster. Everything else remains the same. Old pathfinding algorithms, super strong demons, no building kiwi, small vision radius which doesn't allow you to explore the map quickly, and other small things. Overall, if you haven't played the game but are a Warcraft fan, then the game is fun to play. For everyone else, I highly doubt you will enjoy the game. In addition to the above mentioned problems, there are problems with balance, where the most effective units are archers and mages who summon demons and water elementals. Now let's move on to the Warcraft 2 Remaster. There we have the same improvements. Groups of 12 units, health buff, detailed graphics, and that's all. And comparing to the original game, the remaster no longer looks so significant. Many things were improved in the second game compared to the first one. The amount of food from the farms was added, and you could now select 9 units in groups instead of 4. The multiplayer was also available in Battle.net Edition version, and the remaster didn't add anything new here. But hold on, actually it added. When you play the campaign or skirmish game, the AI doesn't upgrade his units, but use units' abilities if these upgrades were available by scenario. This makes campaign completion much easier than in the original game. Therefore, there are not so many reasons to run and buy remaster for 10 euros. Warcraft 2 is an interesting game that new players may like, thanks to its immortal graphics, but if you play the original, then there is no point in buying the remaster. If you are a new player who hasn't played the second game, then perhaps it makes sense to buy the game, but only if you are used to high-resolution graphics. In all other cases, the same Battle.net Edition should be enough for you. To sum it briefly, the remaster is very useful for the first game and almost unnoticeable for the second. In my opinion, the remaster was made only for those who want to feel nostalgic for the old days, because let's take a look on the situation from the outside. Right now, there are many cool games available that have modern controls, good graphics, and much more strategic opportunities than the first two Warcraft games. Do you really think that it's a good idea to spend your time on the first Warcraft games, while reading the list of newly released strategy games like Age of Wonders 4, Age of Mythology Remastered, StarCraft 2 with many maps and campaigns, as well as free multiplayer, Age of Empires, Company of Heroes, Rome Total War, Warhammer, Northgard, XCOM, Rise of Nations, Stronghold? I'm really doubt it. Leave these games in your warm memories. Maybe in the past the choice of games wasn't that rich, and Warcraft stood out from the games of those times. But now, for the price that they ask for the remaster, you can play a lot of other interesting games. And that's it, it's Angel with you. Leave your comments about this game, press the like button if you like this review, and subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss new videos. Support me on Patreon and buy me a coffee, because the more you support, the more desire to make new videos. Bye everyone!